Alright guys, we're back for part 2 of the video. Everybody's just now sitting in. It looks like the only people that initially sat in just put me and Leather Ass in here. So, should be up and running again, and in a 6-max game. Alright, he races me and I'm just going to fold it and we'll get back to the 6-max action. Alright, there we go. So it looks like everybody's in and ready to go. And I get the King 5 suited. Oh, it just looks like we're three-handed here. And Dusty opens. I just pitch it. Alright. So I'm going to re-raise Dusty here with my Queen 9 off. Make it 24. His opening range there is pretty enormous. If I get 4-bet, that's unfortunate. I'm going to give it up. I'm definitely not going to 5-bet shove as a bluff. We're not to that point yet in metagame. He calls. And I'm just going to check it back here. He checks, and I really, he would definitely expect me to bet my ace-king on this flop, I think, because I do have good equity. And so I don't think I can really rep ace-king here much at all. So I'm kind of, trapped in this spot where I'm going to have to give up on the hand unless I make a hand, basically. And he checks, and, I really think he's going to have a medium pair, some ace-highs here. There's just nothing I can do. I don't think. Yeah, he may fold out ace high, but I don't think that's a huge significant part of his range. So yeah, I'm just gonna check with my Queen 9 here and give up on the pot the way I played it. Yeah, he has sixes. He definitely wasn't folding that anywhere in the hand. If the board texture would have been different and it wouldn't have had the straight draw to the ace, because I do have good equity against most hands there. I'm gonna be looking at 10 outs some of the time. It gets all pairs higher than sixes. So I don't think I can really wrap ace-king. King-queen maybe. There are some kings in my range. But I do not think that I'll bluff there. I think I'm going to be getting looked up pretty light there on average. So so far throughout the match, I've kind of shown a reluctance to c-bet, so I can use that to my advantage as we continue. My c-bets will probably get a little more respect. And I really think probably one of the few ways I can get Leather off his hand there, he was definitely would have called the turn and on the river. I think one of my only way to successfully bluff there would have been to overbet shove it. Alright, so it's 3-bet. Bryce requested time, which looks like he's going to run out of time. I really wish the full tilt timer reset every single time, but it doesn't, and I really dislike that about their site. And I personally wish it was a little longer. And if people are abusing it, then it could be removed. But I definitely like a much longer timer. Alright, so I got sixes here. Calling opens. I'm just going to float here on the button. Alright, so he checks me. I'm just going to check it back. Going to call the turn, and if he bets the river, I may bluff raise him here. He checks, and I got a decent amount of showdown value here. Although he may be checking here with a 10 some of the time. But I'm going to check it. I suspect him. He'll be value betting a 10. So I'm just going to check here. And he has ace jack. My hand is good. So it was a good result. Alright, in that last hand with the sixes, and the reason on the river for a bluff raise, I take that back about checking the 10. I really think he's going to value bet a 10, and I would definitely play most of my, if I flop, gin there with a 4 or 7, I would definitely, I would play all my monsters in that manner, mostly there. So that was kind of my logic, that when he bets out on the river, I don't think his hand's super strong. However, I do think it's a value bet. I doubt he's bluffing there very often. So I was going to raise. Bet sizing would have been pretty interesting. I don't know if I could have rated a little less than pot. There's two ways you can approach it. You can, and it really depends on how the other guy's thinking about your play. You can make a big over bet looking like you're bluffing, or if he thinks you're doing that with all made hands, then you can make a big over bet as an actual bluff. Or conversely, you can make a smallish raise with your made hands and your smallest raise with your bluff. So it really just depends on how you want. The key is making your lines congruent. If you do it one way with a made hand, you're going to have to do it with a bluff as well. Balancing your ranges. Alright, so calling limps, and I've got king 10 here, and this is good enough to raise on the button. So I'm gonna blast it up. Alright, so I'm gonna bet 15 into 19 here on this flop. And I take it down, which is a good result. Alright, I'm going to check and pull up. I don't have filter Poker Ace for just this one session, so I'm going to pull up stocks stats and Poker Tracker and check them out. He's running at 30-20. And so far he's played a lot of hands out of his big blind. He's played 42% of his hands out of his big blind so far, which is likely due to his sample size, I would imagine. That seems to be a extremely high VPIP from the big blind. Alright, Dusty almost times down and 4 bets in. You can't really make, with all of us doing these videos, you can't put any stock at all into the timing, in my opinion, because guys will be talking, doing commentary, and that's going to add up or take up a lot of time. Whereas there are definite timing tails that you can come across playing against guys in just normal cash games. But the commentary really messes with the reliability of the tails. so it's a much higher signal, much higher noise to signal ratio. Alright, Dusty open state. I get ace deuce. And I'm just going to fold it here. Alright, so I got 4-5 off, just folding. Looks like I'm definitely being the tightwad of the bunch so far. After 89 hands, I've played a 21-19, 21-20ish game, and whereas everybody else is definitely playing laggier. And again, Nick just calls out of his big line. So that's definitely something that he's really playing a lot of hands there. You know, he may be doing that. He may not be 3-betting much. Maybe balancing, you know, slow playing some overpairs there and trying to balance that with weaker hands as well. When he check raises a flop like this, it's just so dry. Very often, it's usually from most players. It's usually only two things: either an air, complete air, or a monster. And so I really think Nick's range is going to be very polarized there. Don't think he's doing it with like ace 10, king 10, hands like that. I think he would definitely try to play a smaller pot. All right, Dusty opens. I got deuce 7. I'm going to 3-bet him just for spite, really, just because I got deuce 7. And I don't have the show my hands turned on, which is unfortunate because I would just like to show it. But there's really no other logic than having deuce 7. So that's one of those do as I say, not as I do there spots. And queen 8, going to open it up. Alright, I got ace king here. I'm going to 3-bet Dusty again. We're like 125 big blinds deep. I get 4-bet. I'm sticking it in. So, alright, so I got ace 10. I'm going to raise this up too. And I get ace jack here, and I'm probably going to 3-bet somebody if indeed raised. I've raised every hand or I've raised the last 3 hands in a row. Actually, I'm just going to call here out of the blinds. We're a little deep, and I've been raising so much. Don't want to necessarily play a re-raised pot. Out of position here. Alright, so he checks behind when the 6 rolls off. I'm actually going to... Now the question, we'll call him bet a 10 here. I'm actually going to get tricky trappy. And if he bets, I'm going to check raise him. And this is, you know, strictly for value. I think that he may think that I'm bluffing here a high percentage of the time. And since the 6 rolled off, I'm going to raise it up to 28. Now, what I don't want to happen is get reshoved on here. That would be pretty sick. But if he just calls, I'm definitely going to bet the river for value as well. But I really think he'd be betting most of the flops as a. All right, the pots. I'm going to make this look exactly. I'm going to bet 60 here. I really think he would have bet the flop with most draws. So I think I'd totally eliminate that out of his shoving range. 6 would be something to check behind. If he jams me here on the river, I'm going to pitch it. But this is just strictly for value. I think I'm ahead of his range. And that's a quote-unquote a good card to bluff at. And I think he knows that. And since he's taking so much time, I do think my hand's good. And he looks me up in the river, and my hand is indeed good. So that worked out really well. Alright, and he showed a pair of 10s there, so he showed Queen 10 on that river. So I pretty much had his range nailed. Alright, I got 5-8 here. This is a pretty loosey-goosey call, but we're getting a little deeper. And I'm just chosen to call there out of the small blind. Alright, this is a spot sometimes I like to squeeze because my eye can ref a lot of strength here. But I'm just going to pitch it. That's pretty funny, but Colin typed in the chat box there. That definitely made me laugh out loud. Alright, so I got 6s again, and if it's raised, I'm just going to call there, pre-flop. A re-raise is not, from the deeper stacks, a re-raise is not particularly bad. I get 3-bet by stocks, and I'm just going to, his range is wide here, so I don't think I can just call and set mine. So I'm going to call and see if I can play a good flop or take it away from him. If he bets here, I'm just going to cold call. Alright, he bet 3/4 pot, and I'm just going to call this one pretty quickly. And my plan for the turn, if he shoves here, I'm probably just going to have to dish the hand. Now what I'm going to do here is something I don't necessarily always do. Y'all guys have to excuse the phone ringing. I'm at my parents' house in Tennessee for the holidays. So I'm going to bet really small here and make it look like I'm trying to induce a shove from a better hand. Often, if I flop a monster there, I'll make a bet like that, and I'll try to, oftentimes the guys will check there with jacks or, whatever hand they have, aces, kings, queens, etc. And let guys bet the turn and see a stack of donk line. And I like to bet small there when I have big hands to try to induce a shove. I think it gets guys to stick it in more lightly. And with my hand, and my hand was in fact marginal there, But if I think if I adequately balance my marginal hands and my monsters, then that'll work out great. I don't know if Leatherass is leveling me here or what the deal is, but I just had to. Back when I was first playing poker and I was just starting, like most college kids, you had to be or I was a poker dork playing on the kitchen table, watching rounders. So I had to pawn off some lines there. And now it's, I said this earlier on the first video that I wanted to get a big stack right behind Leather and just mess with them. So I definitely think it'll be fun. And deep stack poker is really, deep stack no limit is just a lot of fun. There's so many different ways to play hands, and you can just do some really interesting stuff. All right, so this is I was chatting in the chat box and not paying attention, and I missed the action on this hand, but it looks like we've got a nice pot here. Alright, so I got King 5 again, pitching it. Nick's got a deep stack, it's on my left. That hand's just not playable. And I don't really want to get involved out of position in a blind war with a deeper stack against a real solid player. Alright, so I got ace-8 diamonds here. I'm going to open it up. And I take it down, which is good. Alright, you can see the table's playing. This is the table stats down here. It's playing 26-23, which is pretty darn aggressive. And not a game you want to be in if you can avoid it. You like to always have one spot on your table, and that's what we have Leatherass here for. So I can just pound on him. Alright, 9-4, that's a fold. Alright, Nick opens here in a 7. He gets 3-balled by Bryce, 25. And I believe that the Nick's calling me the net, actually, at the table show. It's pretty funny. So it's 3-betting, it got checked through. And then Bryce checks it again. And just gave up on the hand, which I suspect that was, you could 3-bet him there with, you know, a really, really wide range, and that flop's such a bad flop. It's a continuation bet on because it does indeed smash Stocks' range. So we got 7 deuce. Just pitching it. But I'm playing so far. I've played 25 is my VPIM, 22 is my PFR, and my total aggression is 4. This is really, you know, this is kind of a glimpse at how I'd play in a higher stakes game, because very often you're going to be at a table with really, you know, obviously super tough guys, and guys of this caliber are going to be at the lineup. This is pretty much how the games go. This is pretty much a glimpse into a high stakes game, a candid glimpse. So, you know, you can play a little laggier. These games, they just naturally play a little laggier. But, alright, wow. Just completely just sticks it in there. Oh, wow. And his bluff does not work, considering he ran into Quadzillas. And actually, the slow roll was very nice. All right, so I got 9-8 suited here. I'm gonna raise it up. Pot here. And I'm just gonna check it. And I'm just gonna peel one off. And you know, basically my hand is pretty darn face up here for the exact type of hand I have. I think if Nick, really my line on that, I don't think ever calling that river is going to be profitable for me. I think that's going to be a value bet pretty much every time from Nick. What my line there is either check raise, bluff, where I'd be basically repping, you know, a slow play monster. Or just fold it. And I'm not exactly sure what is the best line there. Alright, so I got king 4 suited. I would probably float it, leather ass on the button with the deeper stacks there, but I just can't risk getting 3-bet. Or I could risk it, but I just don't think it's going to be worthwhile because I'm be getting 3-bet here, a pretty good amount. Alright, so I got queen 3 here, and just folding. Something a little more playing with 5-6 suited, 5-6 off. Just really anything. I'd probably 3-bet Bryce. But I want something that has some post-flop value. It doesn't have to have much, but I would definitely like to have some. Alright, so Nick check races him again, which is gotta be frustrating Dusty some, since he called him out of the blinds. He check raced him twice. Gave up once on the turn, so I wouldn't be surprised if he checked here again. And try to snap off the check raise on the turn. But if I was Nick here and I did have a hand that I wanted to play a big pot with, I would fire it out right here for sure. I already bet 77 in the 90. Alright, got Queen Deuce again. You know, nothing playable. Just gonna fold it. You know, that's a spot where I do like to make some squeezes, but both of these guys know that I'll be squeezing there a bunch, so it definitely detracts from the value of my hand. Or the value of my play, I should say. My hand has no value. But I guess that's one and the same thing, so whatever. Yeah, it looks like we're going to do 12 or 13 more minutes here. I hope y'all. I've had a blast playing this these matches so far, and I hope y'all have enjoyed them as well. It's always fun to play good players, and especially guys you know, when you can goof off and rip on each other in the chat box. Alright, so I got King Jack off. We're deep stack. You know, Dusty's definitely playing a loose, aggressive game, but I'm just going to pitch in. This is could be considered a semi-tight fold. You know, he's going to have me dominated a lot, but I got Nick behind me. He's probably coming along since we're all deep stack with such a wide range, so it's not like I'm accomplishing anything with my float there, position-wise. And if I 3-bet, it's going to put me in, you know, again, if he calls my 3-bet, it's going to put me in. I'm going to be very often dominated. And I'm not going to be wanting to play, you know, often I'm just going to flop top pair. And I'm not going to be wanting to play a 200 blind pot. With just a top pair, our ranges are definitely not that wide. Alright, so I got 8-6 suited. I'm kind of bored, so I'm going to raise it up under the gun. You know, I've said this before, pre-flop play, especially as you get deeper in no limit, becomes less and less importance. Alright, again, it seems like I'm getting big little. Face little is pretty much what I'm getting dealt here lately. So it sucks that I'm not getting to play a bunch of interesting pots. Ace Jack hand was fun, and the sixes we played this video were interesting hands. But other than that, I really just haven't gotten involved in anything too crazy. Alright, again, Queen 7. Just gonna fold it. Alright, so I got fours. This is definitely going to be a playable hand. I'll raise it up. If I get 3-bet here, I'm definitely going to call once, play this hand 3 ways, so I really doubt, and Nick's going to be folding. And I basically flop gin here, which is good. And the question is, how do I get the most money in? And I'm actually just going to cold call here, and I really think that my hand's going to look very weak. He checks. I'm going to check this one behind, and I'm just going to shove the river. If he's calling me, he's going to call. I think he's just going to look me up with whatever. Since I didn't bet the turn, it's going to be hard to ref, a stone cold bluff. But I'm going to stick it in. I think that's the way to get some value there. But the reason I check behind on the turn there is I think he might have value bet a hand like, he may have checked the turn with a hand like ace-10, ace-9, some hand like that, and then value bet the river, and I was going to shove over the top of it, which kind of my play. Also, I may induce bluffs. And when I check behind the turn, it looks like I have a marginal made hand there. And I really wanted to throw out like a half-pot value bet, and then me shove over the top of it with my hand and try to induce a call. But that was just kind of a little tricky. Betting the turn there is completely standard, and just my normal line. Because he's probably going to commit. If he value bets the river, you can make the argument if he value bets the river, and then he's going to bet the turn with those same hands as well. Oh, the min raise on the river, that's... Well, that was kind of... I like prices. Little min raise there, to be honest with you. I'm just going to call here my 8-10. For no specific reason other than I just want to take a flop. Alright, so Colin's range here is going to be mega huge. But could Colin lead the turn? That would be a interesting line. Actually, I'm going to do that. I think my hand's going to look really strong if I take that line. Already gets overcalled. Now that's just kind of totally kills my plan. An overcall there is, and you check calls, check overcalls. I really don't know what to make of that. All I can think of is just mega hand or 7-8. So I'm done with the hand. Alright, checks through again, which is just totally perplexing here. That's 4-5. Wow, I did not expect him to overcall hand that weak, so I guess I should have stuck to my original plan and led the turn. Alright, so I got king down here. I'm going to raise this one up. I get 3-bet, which is not shocking. I should fold this pre-flop or 4-bet him. I'm actually going to call and take a flop. I'm actually, leads out here. I'm gonna make a smallish raise. It's kind of turning my hand in the bluff, but I really think he's probably he may barrel on me, and that's a scary flop to continue with an overpair. This deep, you know, I definitely think he'll shove draws on me here. Big nut flush draws. But that should put him in a really tough spot. And he does indeed shove on me, which is unfortunate. But, you know, I can't continue with the hand. So I'm going to think for a bit, and then fold it. That's 269. I'm getting 2 to 1, so on average I'd have to have 33% equity. But the question is, does he stick a overpair in there on this board? Which I almost find that kind of hard to believe that he would, but 33. I do have 33% equity against a draw. 10-8, Queen 10. Those are all in his range. He may call and wait for a safe turn. Man, I'm really almost talking myself into a call here, which is silly. But I just think an overpair is really a small portion of his range. Yeah, I'm so tempted to call him here. But oh, my gut almost tells me to look him up there, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he may have called with an overpair, just smooth called. But I kind of overthought that one, pretty much. That's when you just get fancy play syndrome. It looks like we're going to try to do a 6-way coin flip here at the end. But, you know, that hand too, now the more I think about it, you know, yeah, I think obviously a draw and I don't have to have much, so I kind of put myself in a bad spot with my raise. I kind of priced myself into it, to almost calling a shove there, and second off 200 big bets deep. With second pair is definitely not good. But that's just, again, one of those spots where you can overthink and overanalyze a hand and just screw yourself up. Alright guys, looks like we're going to, this is going to be it here for the video. I hope you all have enjoyed it. Unless I can get these nets to coin flip it. Which I think it would be a lot of fun. But again, the problem with, you know, back to the nines hand, the problem there is, I think when he does shove a hand, it's going to be a hand like Queen 10, 10-8. you know, 2 overs and a flush draw. So I'm really only going to have 50% equity against those hands. And that really kind of kills. And then he's going to obviously show up there with monsters. So that's gonna kill my EV. But anyways, guys, hope y'all enjoyed it. And I'll see y'all on the forums.